What is going on, YouTube? Working on another custom today, and today I'll be working on, oh yeah, a 1971 Hemi Cuda. In my humble opinion, I believe the 70 to 74 Plymouth Hemi Cudas are the absolute ultimate muscle car. Despite that, I am not a huge fan of this casting. It kind of reminds me of the bodybuilder that never does leg days. It's got these little scrawny chicken legs that I don't know, it's got a weird stance that I don't quite like. But hopefully I'll be able to fix that and make it look like the badass car that it should. Mattel debuted this in 2012 in the new model series, and it is currently being produced today. I believe the last one that came out was in 2020 in the Stars and Stripes series. This one was released in 2015 in the Hot Wheels Workshop Heat Fleet series. It's in metal flake blue with orange and yellow flames, and it has the chrome and black MC5 or Muscle Car 5 wheels. I picked this one up at a thrift store a while back. It's kind of beat up and could use some touching up and refreshing for sure. So with that said, let's take this thing apart. I have already drilled out the posts, so let's take it apart and see what we got. Got the yellow glass in there that is kind of foggy and beat up, but I can fix that pretty easily. Interior's looking pretty good, actually. Gotta love the shaker hood. It's very cool. And the base is a pretty normal base, but for all you diecast racers out there, that would be a great base to add some weight and do some racing. First thing we're going to do, though, is take all this paint off here. Although a very nice color, it's got to go. And as usual, you want to get a pretty heavy coat on there. Let that sink in and do its job. And all I do is take a brush, spread that all around. So there we go. I'll let that sit there for a little bit, and then we'll go and rinse it off. All right, so the old Cuda's looking pretty good. Time to get all that paint off there. Look at that. Let that sit in there for quite a while. It's actually overnight. Got tied up on other things, and Citrus Strip did a fantastic job. I'm always amazed when I take the paint off these and I see details that were otherwise covered up, like these little vents right there. Never even knew those were there with the paint on there. So it's looking pretty good. I'll go wash that up, and we'll be ready for some primer. For the primer, I used Krylon Color Max White Primer, and I'm going to be using a Duplicolor Metal Cast paint. They're typically intended to go over a metallic surface, but I'm curious to see how it works going over this white primer. I think it'll be a pretty cool color. We'll just have to wait and see. So we got the paint drying on the Cuda. Let's take a look and see what kind of shape everything else is in. So originally, the car came with some yellow glass, but as it just so happened, I had a spare 70 AAR Cuda laying around, and I did a little window swap, and I took the blue glass out of this one and put the yellow glass in. The yellow just wasn't going to go with the paint job I had planned, so this will actually work a lot better. This glass was actually in really rough shape, but little flits and gauzy agent, and we got this thing looking like brand new. Interior is in fantastic shape, really, and I'm not going to touch it. I ended up doing a little wheel swap, and we're going with some monoblock wheels here. I actually took these. They were originally gold, and painted them a flat black. I think they look pretty cool. They turned out pretty nice. And I think they're going to look really, really good with the paint job we got going on here. I'm a huge fan of monoblock. Go check out their website and order up some wheels. They make a really, really good product. All right, I think it's about that time that we get this all put back together. And everything goes back in the car in reverse order that it came out, which is pretty obvious. All right, time for the moment of truth. Let's see how it all turned out. Oh yeah, check it out. Pretty cool if I do say so myself. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Mopar was known for running some pretty extreme colors back in the day, and I think this is a pretty cool take on the plum crazy purple that Mopar ran back in the day. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. My lighting doesn't really do the color justice, so a little later on I'll take this outside, show you what it looks like in the sun. But very cool. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Although there are some issues with it. I'm still trying to get back into this customizing thing, and made a few mistakes. One of which, if you can see it, with this billboard here, I kind of put some cracks in there. I didn't notice it at the time because the black and the purple were kind of the same color, but I was a little bit rough putting these decals on, and I got a few little cracks in there. But by the time I noticed it, it was a little bit too late, and I figured, what the heck, might as well just go with it. I know there's a little crack in this one also, but it just goes to show you gotta be real careful with these water slide decals. But I figured I show you the cool stuff I do, might as well show you the stuff I screw up also. So, but anyway, very cool. And this was Duplicolor Metal Cast Purple. Very happy with the way it turned out. Let's go take some closer looks at this. Here's what I started out with. A thrift store find Barracuda that had been pretty well played with and was a little bit beat up. Needed some TLC, and here's how it all turned out. I'm a huge fan of that metal cast purple paint. I thought the paint looked fantastic, but I really wasn't happy with the way the billboards ended up, and I got a little sloppy with the grill on there. This video was actually made in 2021, and I just never released it. I don't think it's my best work, so I just kind of never got around to releasing it. Why release this video now? Well, I plan on revisiting this build in the future. There's some things I want to do to it that I think can make it significantly better than how it turned out. And I want to challenge myself to do things that I don't typically do. So my customs are pretty basic. Pretty much meant for racing and being played with. So it's just paint jobs, water slide decals, and the occasional wheel swap. But I want to do more. I want to add some more detail to my customs, maybe try some stuff that I've never done before. And I think this would be a good candidate for that. So I think I'm going to be making some positive changes to the channel, and I hope you guys are along for the ride. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.